Stealth.
I like the sound.
Control over the environment. Bosses with personality.
Executions are efficient, but killing is a journey. I'll take my delicious time with you. Oh, the noises your sweet wife made. Even in death, I won't forget them.
This is the story of two characters banished from death and cursed to wage war forever.
Made by the Dark Lord himself. And still covered in my family's blood.
Father! I'm right here, son. I'm right here.
Shirkush'agh azgushu.
Shadow of Mordor. One hell of a game. While I'm not a fan of the movies or the books themselves for Lord of the Rings, the story of Celebrimbor and his creation in the One Ring and how it led to the downfall of Middle-earth was exactly the story I wanted to hear. On top of this, the game gives us excellent mass combat, the ability to make your own orc army, and fun stealth mechanics. Let's dive right in so you can see what I mean.
This is where the storm will gather that will engulf the world of men.
We play as Talion, a ranger from Gondor who is in hiding for killing a nobleman. He is sacrificed by the Black Hand of Sauron to bring back Celebrimbor. The two are then bound together.
Come back to me, Elf Lord.
So, in the beginning, the game wants you to explore the map by reforging these ancient towers that Celebrimbor built. These will unlock additional story missions for you, and other places to go, and rebuild your weapons' powers. And the game itself, for combat, is not that difficult. That's the cool part about it. You have bullet time archery, you have simple right-click to counter incoming orc attacks, but the game adds a lot of spice like aerial attacks, ground executions, grabbing orcs and using them as body shields. It allows you to have quite a bit of creativity to the game, and it becomes more difficult as you get more orcs to attack you. So, the main mechanic you'll be using to forward the game is an interrogate command. Powers of Celebrimbor allow you to deep dive into these orcs' brains and gain information, and later on, dominate them.
Is a fiend.
As we complete these missions and gain a Thilden, we will get access to a wide variety of upgrades, allowing us to stun orcs, shoot explosive arrows when we shoot fires, and get runes for our weapons that upgrade them in power.
Why use your human sight to track the Uruk? I see more than any mortal. Slay the orc captain, cut off the head of the snake, and the body will wither.
I love Wraith Sight. Wraith Sight allowed me to see everything useful in this game, from fires that you can shoot to make them explode, to bees' nests, to even where captains are so you can go challenge them and get more power. So, even though this captain's fight is pretty easy, you usually have to work them down to a green state, which is the weakened state, before you can actually permanently kill them or drain them of their intelligence from their mind or dominate them. And that can be quite a challenge if they have a lot of special abilities and there's a ton of orcs following you around. Even here, I'm pretty harassed. Killing the slaver allows us to get Hirgan, who is leading all the slaves into a resistance. We'll need him later on to advance the story, but for right now, he's just a pain in the ass.
I take it you did not come here to arrest me for treason, Captain?
You and I are all that remains of that garrison, Hugo.
And just as Talion will remember his past through Hirgan and others around him, Celebrimbor will recover his past through ancient relics.
perhaps that pain is what connects us.
The early game is pretty awesome. They give you a wide variety of tools to play with, such as wild caragors you can shoot from or hunt down orcs. Once you knock them down on the ground, bite their heads off, or unleash caragors from their cages or lure them into the area by shooting wild meat down on the ground. Very effective way of sowing chaos without the orcs even knowing that you're there. So much fun. And don't forget about fire barrels. Oh, fire barrels. I love you. You also get a Wraith Stun, which is really useful for debilitating these captains and getting a free execution on them, and it charges your hit counter. Well, what do you use the hit counter for? Executions. So, we have a lot of very useful tools in our belt. And that's pretty much what you gain access to in the early game. So what about story? Where are we going with this? We have a traumatized ranger and a crazy old elf. Well, they want to take control of Mordor. And to do that, they're going to need the insight of another orc.
Oh, but you cut these ropes. Ratbag will tell you everything.
Now, what would you know that all these other dead orcs didn't?
Ratbag can teach you the ways of the orc. Ratbag can make your plan work. Now, your problem, Ranger, is the war chiefs.
But you can find them.
Oh, yes. Ratbag will show you the way. You help me, I help you.
Do not make me regret this deal.
And of course he makes us regret the deal. The first thing the bastard does whenever we free him and help him get his revenge is he goes and gets himself captured in a duel
You call this a duel?
against Mog.
I call this losing a duel, you glob. Right here? Is it good? Is that good? I'm just...
So after a fight with Mog, we get to interrogate him, which allows us access to information on any of the war chiefs. And then it becomes pretty clear why good old Ratbag failed at his task. He was sent to assassinate this guy's brother. So of course he failed. So Ratbag has to make bigger promises.
Once the war chief hears of my victory, he'll make me his personal bodyguard.
And how does this help me?
A backstabbing bodyguard?
So, this is going to take us right into the middle game, where we confront the war chiefs of this area, and we get a whole new tier of abilities. Let's dive right into it.
These Uruk have a twisted concept of justice.
It is not justice. It is the constant weeding out of the weak in favor of the strong.
Captains have increased defenses. Figuring out why Sauron wants Celebrimbor
I
back.
heard the stories, but
I remember my name now. I shaped the history of Middle-earth. I crafted the Rings of Power.
Fighting war chiefs that have a large amount of immunities to different damages and can often kill you in 2 hits. So these are a lot of extra threats and a lot of story that's happening here. What does the game give you to deal with this? Well, we get some amazing tools. This Shadow Strike, as you're seeing here, allows us to automatically teleport to where we need to go and knock down an enemy. We're going to get a lethal variation of this very soon where we just perform an execution. But look at that ground we can cover now. And all it takes is a couple elf shot. You also get a Brutalize ability, which can cause a fear spiral, causing orcs to pretty much run away constantly. Another weapon that causes fear spirals like this is the Head Explosion ability, which will cause all the orcs to run off, and you can just repeatedly brutalize them and cause more and more terror. But if a group of orcs is still pretty huge, well, you're not going to get all of them. But still, there's some really effective weapons for crowd control. So let's pivot and talk story. Well, as you can expect, we're still helping Ratbag climb the orc hierarchy.
Hey, look, there's no need to freshen the wounds today. These birds are feeding plenty well as it is. Oh! You bastards! No! When I am war chief, these birds will feast on your guts!
So, we're gonna pretty much take on the war chief, and Ratbag will take his place. Thanks, Ratbag. Taking on a war chief usually has you do an intro mission, such as kill all of his supporters, or kill a certain type of troop. This will lure him out so you can fight him.
Within you.
As you can see, these war chiefs are pretty specific about what can and can't hurt them, and some things will enrage them and make them much stronger. So with all that being said, let's watch a battle together against this Mog. His hatred of Caragors, as you see right here, it's going to make him hit way harder, and also be immune to some fear effects, but a lot of orcs don't like being lit on fire. As you can see, the battlefield quickly escalates to just a huge, crazy scene. So unpredictable. But because he was on fire, we're able to actually get a stun off on him and get some easy executions. He hits the Caragor. Oh man, I love this game. And then he ends up burning to death, I think, right here. And so, Ratbag becomes War Chief. And he gets an ear. Pretty good reward, right?
Finally, Ratbag is War Chief!
Remember Hirgon, the character who is leading the slave resistance I mentioned earlier? Well, it's time to go back to him and break this whole area wide open. This will be the end of the first map.
Italian, ready to pick that fight? The orcs are building a monument to honor Sauron. We have enough blasting powder to destroy it.
Fine. I'll take it and I'll finish this.
Not without me, you won't.
I thought your only concern was saving your wife.
So did I. Come on, let's go before I change my mind. Everyone! To the monument!
Our objective is to take a cart filled with orcish grog and use it to blow up the monument.
You handle the car with the explosives.
Now, as you can see here, there's a bunch of Caragors here. They're not supposed to be here. I released a ton of them and led them into the area. So they're going to just ravage the entire orc army here. I'm not going to need to do shit other than hop around a couple times. I love this. So awesome.
No Udic shall harm you.
During the second phase, archers show up, and you pretty much just headshot them out of the way, shatter strike them into oblivion, and then you finish pushing the cart into the monument where it explodes. Man, if the orcs are drinking this, holy crap, do they just fart explosions? With all those Caragors protecting us, we can ignore the archers, no problem. As you can expect, the army of Sauron doesn't like this too much, most specifically, the Black Hand.
He wants the Grave Walker.
The Black Hand has come.
One of his minions. He was sent here to hunt us down. Let me gather my men.
The servants of Sauron are foes beyond any of you.
So you know what that means. It's time to take on the Black Captain.
So the local war chiefs did nothing to prevent this sacrilege?
They all perished in battle, my lord. All except me. War Chief Ratbag.
Fortunately, you are still alive.
Oh, come on, don't take it out on Ratbag.
Now, bring me the head of this grave walker.
Claim the head yourself.
The ranger from the Black Gate. Where was your bravery when we bled your wife and gutted your son? Kill him!
So the fight with the Black Captain, it's not very hard, but it is a little tedious. You're really expected to charge up executions against him and use the orcs to kind of do so. Otherwise, you really can't do some of your normal tactics. He'll just counter you with those close blasts like that, and occasionally throw some like ranged attacks at you, or beat you with his mace. You can't jump over his head.
Back to Earth, Grey One! Teach you what real pain is.
I love the lines and defeats so much from the Black Captain.
Vengeance taste, Talion. Is not the darkness sweet?
You acted too hastily. There's much we could have learned.
He slaughtered my entire family before my very eyes. What would you have done?
Do you speak with the living? Or only with the dead?
Who are you?
My name is Lothariel, from the Sea of Nurnen. My mother said you would be here. And here you are.
So, an excuse arrives to go to the second map, to discover more of Celebrimbor's powers, and how we can ultimately forge an orcish army. Welcome to the endgame.
There will be no medals for us, Celebrimbor. No honor or glory.
Let those who come after take the glory. We must keep hope alive long enough for them to have that chance.
A broken queen points the way towards Celebrimbor regaining his greatest powers.
A fallen ranger from the Black Gate. Come closer.
A dwarf with a pact of vengeance leads us to the last clues of where that power might exist.
And I bet 10 pints you just nabbed the treasure I was after.
Now, I am grateful for the assistance, but it does not grant you proprietary rights.
Keep it! I just found something a lot more valuable.
And what would that be?
My new hunting partner!
And finally, we get to build an orc army.
Your will is mine.
It is yours, Master. Get back! You are made to be cowed by terror.
Gaze into the light of my eye. See the blue flames that will save you.
And finally, you can activate everyone. And your minions will begin slaughtering all of their former co-workers. I wonder if this is how corporate hostile takeovers work. So what happens whenever you have a branded captain and you help him assassinate the current war chief? He gets promoted to that war chief's position. So why do we need an army? Well, we return to Queen Marwen.
Do not resist me, Celebrimbor.
Together we can be invincible. The dark ones are still weak.
Our army can destroy him.
Mother!
I am.
While Marwyn was possessed by Saruman, she was able to locate the last remnants of Sauron's Black Hand and Tower.
I have seen Sauron's servants. The tower. And the Black Hand. They bring much suffering. If you wish to know where they are across the Sea of Nurnen.
Their forces. How strong?
Strong enough to defeat us all.
And so, it is time to brand 5 war chiefs, to build our orcish army, and to march to the Sea of Nurnen.
This war chief cannot resist the lure of destruction. Shard flock.
This war chief was hilarious. His fear of Caragors made him such an easy target. But he had such a massive amount of orcs around him, he was hard to really pin down. They got me low on health, and so I was kind of afraid he's going to get away. Thank you, Shadow Strike. So, this makes 2 out of 5. And we created a power struggle, which will give us the opportunity to get another war chief. So, Kugaluga. He was more of a challenge.
This Uruk is special to the war chief. Kill him and lay in wait for our foe.
Face me for what you've done.
One of you go like the weekend!
I knew I was outnumbered, so to even the odds, you have to use the environment. Fire, it would be.
Your call from Narcos! Never!
Thank you, Ranger.
You'll suffer me now!
Meanwhile, Atha gets betrayed by his own A2 Orke, and the other war chief is going to go down in flames. So at this point, our abilities are looking really good. We've almost maxed everything for our stats and on our weapons. So, let's talk about Torvin. An expert hunter. And he really presented a nice break in the game from hunting orcs. And gave you some new tools. Of course, he's got to take you out hunting and make fun of you, and there's the old stereotypical, human or elf versus the dwarf for kills.
Hope you're not put off by my wee scars.
No, not at all. I actually have a few of my own.
Oh, I'll bet. What type of battle scars did you get from the Black Gate, eh? Splinters? Oh, or did you scar your voice telling your soldiers to head into battle?
Tread lightly. My scars run very deep.
Huh. The mighty Graug. He gave me these. And he also took my hunting partner.
I have an idea.
What are you doing? You can't read it.
Torvin teaches you how to ride a Graug. And this thing is so much fun against the orcs.
Party. Hunters in name only. I'll get him.
As far as game mechanics go, that's all Torvin really is useful for here, is introducing, a kind of a break from hunting orcs to hunting beasts, and then using those beasts to kill the orcs. So it all feeds into each other nicely. But Torvin is here because of his hunting partner. His brother was killed by an old Graug, an old white Graug. Oh, and before we even get into that, check out this Dwarf Fortress reference that was hidden inside of this game from one of the game's artifacts. The carved tusk commemorates the conclusion of an epic hunt. Here we see two dwarves. The first is wielding a mighty axe and striking a deadly blow against a giant mumak. The other, who appears to be his twin, flees from the beast in a panic. The quality of the workmanship indicates that the artist was a master craftsman under the influence of a strong ale. So this fight was pretty neat. You had to stun the charging Graug, and then you had to stop him from eating the ghouls who were in the area that he would just recharge his health. So it was actually kind of a challenging fight. I liked it. And of course, Torvin gets knocked out right off the bat. Talk about history repeating itself when his hunting partner, or his brother, got killed.
It's an axe.
Yeah, thanks, Talion.
That's just as sharp as the day our father made it.
And we discover the last of Celebrimbor's artifacts, and how he fell victim to the power of the ring.
That's right! Remember me! Come on, Captain, what are you waiting for? A direct order!
Torvin, I love you, but you fucking suck at this game. So here's how you play Pin the Tail on the Graug. Step 1, shoot in the face. Step 2, stab in the neck and do a fancy flip. Step 3, shoot the Graug's ghoul Lunchables out of his hand. Step 4, repeat all the above steps until you're saved by the dwarf.
I think he's dead.
Well, that's what I call beast hunting, eh?
So that's the last we'll see of Torvin until the Lord of the Hunt post-game expansion. Well, we have all the war chiefs branded, we have an army. Let's march.
We wish to thank you for coming to our aid, Captain.
Aye. Never realized my smuggling could be so appreciated by the Queen, lady.
They're here.
Orcs. Oh, they make bad passengers. But I've carried worse. Lady. Keep that plank level. Oi, touch nothing.
And then it is time to do battle with the orcs. Upon the Sea of Nurnen we meet our nemesis, and we must take him down.
Drown the air with Uruk cries, and the earth with Uruk blood!
And so we commit to taking life and exacting agony. Here is a cool new ability we got. Once you have your hit counter charged, you can unleash an explosion of wraith fire. That is so neat. Once past this, we discover the tower.
Bow to me. And I will deliver you to the Dark Lord, unspoiled.
We bow to no one.
The Dark Lord forgives you, Celebrimbor. Return to him and cast off this human corpse.
Stand up and fight.
There's no need, Ranger. Celebrimbor is your curse. He chose you.
Silence!
And he can release you at any time. Yes, that's all you are, Ranger. A vessel for the Ringmaker. As you wish.
I wish I could tell you that this fight was amazing, that it used all of our skills and talents and orcs that we had accumulated up to this point. Nope, it's pretty much just this. That would be a disappointment if all there was that for the final boss. But luckily, we have one more treat. It's nothing like that at all. Okay, it's kind of like that. But your fight with the orcs before you fight Sauron? Oh man, that was fun. But before that, we return and find that Queen Marwyn, Lithariel, they're dead. Only Sauron awaits us. And Golem is waiting there with our crown to reveal to us what really happened when Celebrimbor was enslaved by the ring.
Ag Buzum ishi krimpatul.
The rest of this story, we won't really find out what happened. Not until we play the Warlord expansion campaign. But we'll get to that. First, the orcs are waiting for us.
Door is rebuilt. Mount Doom is aflame. The fall of men is here, and Sauron will conquer all.
Just listen to those drums of war beat upon your fucking heart as we crush the orcs and we submerge ourselves into the bloody song of swords and death. We trade with the orcs, our captain's falling, and their captain's falling.
You're making a big mistake, Ranger. The orcs will be avenged.
It is time for the showdown with Sauron.
I have a gift for you, Celebrimbor. The Dark Lord gave you a second chance to stand by his side. Now I give you no choice. We shall be sealed together in death.
So be it.
to me,
Strike now, Daniel! I cannot hold it for much longer!
So that was kind of disappointing, in my opinion, you know? Should have been a real fight.
We will be together soon. Forever.
The Black Hand of Sauron is dead. The Hither Shore is calling us. This is no longer our battle. I tried fighting you. It can't be done.
Could you really rest for all of eternity, knowing that you had the chance to stop him, but did nothing?
But even though the fight was a disappointment, the story was fantastic. What a way to keep it open for a sequel. What a way to end things on such a great note. And they did give us a great fight with the orcs.
The time has come for a new ring.
Yes! Oh man, I loved this. This was a ton of fun to play through. This is my third or fourth time playing through. And so we're not done yet with the game. We have 2 expansions to go through. The Lord of the Hunt and the Bright Lord campaign.
Take care, Silverhand. If you defeat Sauron and take the One, you may become something far worse.
So, we have 2 post-game expansions. The first one is the Bright Lord, and the second one is the Lord of the Hunt. We'll be taking on the Bright Lord first.
Dark Lord has the One Ring. I do not stand against him. Middle-earth will fall.
Alright, we get to play as Celebrimbor. I'm so excited for this. So, what did he do during this time? What did he do to thwart Sauron? And what new powers do we as players get to play with because of that? Well, we get the One Ring. Unlimited fire arrows, unlimited executions, unlimited fun. To recharge the One Ring, you just brand orcs. And that's kind of the whole point of this expansion. You use the same mechanics in the base game. Take control of the orcs, take control of captains, and then war chiefs, wage war on Sauron. It doesn't really add all that much new, and the One Ring, while cool, it does kind of put like, hey, charge up your fun meter and then go have fun kind of, you know, limiter on the game. That's not a bad thing per se, but it's a little transparent. The story is also pretty linear. You pretty much do one story after the next to advance your cause, and eventually, you know, you have enough orcs and branded enough war chiefs to go fight Sauron. Same as the main game. On top of all this, you don't get any more runes really for your weapons. You get a little bit. You know, you really have to go out of your way to hunt for it, and there's only some side missions to increase the duration of your One Ring's powers. So, okay, I've said a lot of really mediocre things about this expansion. Why pick it up at all? The answer for that is because the end fight that you have against Sauron was the funnest fight in this entire game. Even more fun than anything else you could do in the base game. So, it takes you dominating all 5 of the war chiefs like I mentioned. It also takes you awakening all of the towers, which you actually have the orcs build, so it explains that backstory. But once you do all that, you can challenge Sauron.
Face me, Sauron!
You will give me what is mine, Celebrimbor.
You have no claim, deceiver! I am the true Lord of the Rings!
Come die, thief.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're like, this is just going to be one cheap execution dance, and you just bounce around and kind of like brand some orcs and you win. I thought so too at first. And, I mean, when you try to go to recharge during your fight to get the One Ring active again, Sauron is just on you. He moves fast enough to really give you very little chance to recharge. And he punishes you for getting into close combat with him. So in your orcs, they are very helpful in this fight. They do some good damage, but you have to eat them for health most of the time, because Sauron, again, will choke slam you, or just, you know, AoE kill everything around him. So, right here, I'm pretty sure I have him. We have the One Ring fully charged, and I think, oh well, it's been a decently challenging fight, but I guess it's the end. So we activate the One Ring and start executing him, and he's just not dying. And so at this point, I'm like, oh, I won. Cool. Yeah, he brings back all 5 of his war chiefs, and you have to work them all down. What the fuck? So yeah, my One Ring is already gone, and you're just starting over. This is just the beginning of the fight.
Strip your boats back and make them into...
Luckily, we don't have to start over. We just have to fight these 5 war chiefs again and keep moving through the mission. So, I set myself to the bloody task. Sauron makes his appearance again upon you slaying his war chiefs. Sauron gets faster, he's able to chokeslam you if you spend more than a second near him, and he consistently brings back his war chiefs at this stage. It's a great fight. Once he gets really low in health, he'll start bringing back war chiefs like every 20 seconds, I want to say. But how did you think this was going to end? The One Ring is always a part of Sauron. It's time to close the circle.
Your spirit is cursed, Celebrimbor, banished from the Undying Lands, and bound within Mordor until the One Ring is unmade.
Ghurarmu, shirkush'agh, azgushu. Zantya apakurizak. Anakizak.
We did it. We completed the Bright Lord's campaign. It closed the circle. It explains the whole existence of Celebrimbor, his binding to Talion, and the history between the Crafter of the Rings and the Lord of Gifts, Celebrimbor and Sauron. There's definitely some other parallels I could have drawn, such as Celebrimbor losing himself and becoming more like Sauron in order to conquer him. There's a lot of these parallels there.
You cannot resist my power, Silverhand. I can feel your rage, your hate, your pride. Your flames feed nothing but evil. You are powerless to stop the darkness. You will become what you seek to destroy.
I tried fighting him. It can't be done. Finally, all will fear me and rejoice.
Well, let's move on to Lord of the Hunt.
I do not have time for another one of your hunts, Master Dwarf.
Ah, but this is your hunt, Captain. There's a pack of war chiefs just arrived in Nurn. Call themselves Beastmasters.
That does sound like my kind of prey. What do I need to know?
A new look for Talion. Stealth-killing Caragors. Projectile-vomiting growls. And finally, the ability to dominate ghouls to kill orcs. The tools they give you in Lord of the Hunt is pretty damn awesome. Again, it just kind of integrates more take advantage of your environment and use it as a weapon. It's really appealed to me. For story, you just simply hunt down and kill the 5 Beastmasters. As trivial as that may sound, each of the Beastmasters is usually attached to one of these beasts, such as a Caragath, Graug, or ghouls.
Not you! Isn't stealing away my lovelies enough for you? Oh, I'll tear you apart for what you've done!
Delicious. I'll have the orc Taco Bell that he's having.
This threat is over, Torvin. All these foul Beastmaster war chiefs have met their end.
We accomplished great things together, Captain.
We certainly have our moments, Dwarf. You even managed to do all right around those ghouls.
You know, Captain, I think I may have been too harsh on the little fiends. Those scampering monsters might not be so terrible after all. They can have their uses, at least.
Will you look at that? You can grow a little. Even if it's only emotionally.
Ooh, not your best, Talion. Well, I should be on my way. Blue Mountains are waiting.
Safe journeys, my friend.
Well, I know that was incredibly brief, but the campaign only took me an hour and a half to beat. And it really is only you going and killing the 5 war chiefs, which I killed 2 of them within 20 minutes. So the fights were okay. None of them really stood out. The best thing about it was the ability to capture beasts with different capabilities. And it still made it worth it to me. It was still fun to go back. There's Torvin's hunting diaries you can uncover. Torvin himself is a cool character. It was worth the money. You know, it's an extra nice piece to the game that I'm glad is there. Well, this is the end of Shadow of Mordor, but it is not the end for Talion and Celebrimbor. We still have Shadow of War to look forward to, and all of the characters and struggles within. I hope you guys have enjoyed this finished game of Shadow of Mordor. It was a lot of fun to create. The game took me about 25 hours to record and 15 hours to edit. You know, so it's about the 40-hour mark for this project. You know, that was for the entire main game, all the post-game content. If you guys have enjoyed it, please consider going to Patreon and throwing your Warlord a few bones. This kind of stuff is definitely a labor of love, but it's still labor. Well, in that case, though, I'll look forward to seeing you on more finished games. And I'll leave you with this little bit from Talion.
The time has come for a new ring.